guys, I was never thinking about doing something like this, but I had to do an intro to this video. Today we're going to talk about chasing the dragon and trying to catch it again once you have sort of progressed through the steps of separation from the beginning of your journey in this hobby. And the term chasing the dragon is borrowed. I think it's borrowed from the opium dens of the British 1880s or so, and it is used today still in like addiction things. So I'm gonna use another term as well to sort of describe what we are looking to do when we are chasing this dragon, because as most of you might know, you can never really get it back. And that term would be set and setting, which describes who, where, when, what, why, and how, sort of, which person in what state of mind did what, with what, who, where, things like that. And when it comes to chasing the hobby dragon or the Warhammer miniature wargaming dragon, I think that is pretty applicable, because we are kind of looking for a way to get back to the first time we opened a starter box or a book or something like that, or a miniature box. And we really can't, especially not for people like me. A lot of people perhaps out there watching this are going to be about my age, and we are so far removed age-wise from that time, and that also comes with certain other ways to move ourselves away from it. So my solution, because I can't go back in time and I can't relive and recatch that dragon, but I can come damn near close if I try. And by allowing myself to try, I think and hope that I might actually catch up. And perhaps I can help you too, because a lot of hobbyists, I have learned, want to get that feeling back again. And as we all know, in about a month from when this video drops, there's going to be another edition of Warhammer 40k. And it's going to be the 11th edition. And 10th edition wasn't really for me. I didn't like it. But some of you did. That's fine, it's not a part of this. But I didn't like 10th, and I'm hoping I will like 11th edition. Because it seems, the way that they have presented it online so far, that it might be more for somebody like me who is more into narrative gaming and just wants to do cool things on the tabletop with painted miniatures and nerdy stuff like that. So I felt like I could do a let's try to catch the dragon video, a video series, I'm guessing, because it's gonna take a while to do this. Because this box calls back the old 2nd edition box, which I bought not on release, because I didn't play 40k when the box released. I played fantasy back then, but I bought it. So this box, we're going back to Armageddon. We are getting Blood Angels versus Orcs again, which is awesome, and it's trying to do the nostalgia thing, and I hope it does. I really do. I also understand that this box is going to be sort of the 2nd edition dragon thing for a whole new generation of guys and girls, and that's going to be amazing for them. But for old guys, old elder nerds like myself, this is just going to be the new box 9 editions down the road that we want to try out. So how do I catch the dragon? How can I kind of get back into that? Well, I decided that I'm gonna start a Space Marine army. You might have seen the basing video I did a while back. 12 people did so far. Didn't really be a hit. Couldn't get it out there, yes. But by doing a Space Marine army and painting it doesn't really matter how you paint, how I'm going to paint it. It's more that I want to do it in a special sort of way. So I've sort of figured out 3 different principles or things to do. Like that's a set list of ways to do this. And the first principle is pretty much, I don't want to do a bad looking army. And I'm not talking about paint-wise, just a bad-looking army in this concept is not how it's painted or built, or converted, or what miniatures you're using, pretty much. But I want to make an army that harkens back to the way they looked in the books in the 90s and in old White Dwarfs. And they had a certain sort of construction thing going on then, and they are what I would consider a good looking army. I'm gonna show you pictures here. Woo! Editing tricks, stuff happening, flashing lights or something, I don't know. There will be pictures here. And this is sort of the idea I have if I don't do a modern army, because modern armies are usually portrayed like these massive collections with stuff, and that's not it here. This is going to be based on these older White Dwarf and rulebook photos. And the second principle I'm going to use is parts of the Stillmania. Nigel Stillman set the rules in stone way back in the 90s with this little square. More editing tricks go here, and I'm going to use part of it. We are going to do a escalation campaign for this edition, so we're starting at 500 points. I'm not going to do 2,000 points straight off, but I'm going to start with 500 points. And I'm going to work myself up, and I'm probably not going to reach 2,000 points. I'll probably only do like 1,500 points of this. Because we like the games to be smaller. We don't have the time, we're old. We have kids and families and other things to do, so we do smaller games. So 1,500 points is going to give me enough to choose from. And I'm going to name the characters and units, and I'm going to give them some sort of backstories and all of that, just to get back into the spirit of things that it used to be. Because I'm going to show you guys, I hope, I don't know yet because I haven't completed this mission, but I'm going to show you guys that that you can do it if you just try and sort of find the vibe that we had back then, but in a new way, with these new miniatures in these newer editions as well. And the third principle is have fun. Nobody wants to have a bad time or be boring, so fun is going to have to be a principle here. I'm going to have fun. I hope my opponents are going to have fun, and I hope they kind of join me in my madness and shenanigans, and I hope you guys do too. And with all that said, follow along. Let's start off with the painting of the Space Marine armor on my Sights of the Emperor, I guess. And let's see where we can go with this. And here we are. This is my example Space Marine. This is the guy in the power armor thing that I'm gonna paint now. He has been base coated black, and then I zenithal him with a white, and then I did some anti-zenithal with a darker orange, and then I put a special mixture of yellows on top to like get that color that I wanted. And that yellow was Army Painter Demonic Yellow, and then some yellow ink from Dollar Rounding. To kick it off, we just go in with Black Legion contrast paint, actually. I love this color, it's amazing. And I repaint everything that's going to be black, making sure to show off his knee pad here, because he is a veteran, so he's going to have a knee pad on the left side, which is obviously, apparently, if you Google it, optional. And just make sure that you get a nice coverage. We are not looking for a perfect coverage though. We want some streaks and textures. That's why I use contrast paint, because I want to get some of the color from underneath to shine through, as well as give it some sort of a dynamic base coat thing. I don't know what to say. It looks really, really nice. And with the stuff that we're going to do to these models, a perfect base coat would not have been preferable. And make sure to get all those nasty parts that you hardly can reach without touching the yellow stuff. Yellow is very, very hard to cover black with, so don't, if possible, do not get it on the yellow parts. And this is definitely applicable if you're going to do it on any other chapter as well. Most colors are poor at covering over black and might be kind of hard to get it to look good again. And this tutorial, or what we're going to call it, is definitely applicable to every single chapter out there. I'm just using these colors. You can use red for Blood Angels or Dark Angels or ultramarine blue or whatever. That doesn't matter, because the color, the tone and the hue is not important. The ideas and the philosophy behind it and how I do things is probably more so, because there's going to be 1,000 million chapters out there, and this is just one of them. But the routine and the things that I do is definitely something you can use on other chapters as well, even other miniatures if you would like to. I'm just going to paint this Scythe of the Emperor model because I want to make this army into this color scheme. And here you can see me going back in and touching up some stuff and adding some extra color. These tiny parts, these are really hard to reach. And as you can see, I've still missed things, so I have to go back again. And I can tell you, I have gone back over these models so many times, because when they dry I can see where I missed, and it's kind of annoying, but also it feels kind of good when you actually get the color in there. Look at how nice he is. Yellow and black. Perfect contrast. An amazing paint scheme. So, where do we go from here? What do you think? We get another marine, of course. And now we have added the transfers, and I have given him a satin varnish over this to protect everything, because I'm going to go in with some very, very diluted raw umber oil paints. You don't need to varnish, but for this sort of idea that I'm going to go with here, you want the surface tension of the paint to be as minimal as you possibly can, but you also want to have sort of a slippery surface for it to work with, so that you can get the color to pretty much self-spread in the recesses. You also want to go over things like the transfers here to make them look like they are a part of the model. If I wouldn't have put this on there, that would have made it look sort of weird. And you might also think, you get a black guy. This is a black marine. There's a black guy out there. Why are you putting brown washes on it? Well, the brown will accumulate in the recesses and give us sort of tones, and that is why I use the contrast paint over the yellow for the black color, to give a lot of more interesting things going on this, not just black, because pure black is very, very boring. So getting the tones of the brown from the raw umber combined with the sort of unnoticeable tones of the contrast paint thing is going to be good. And here's the third model now. What? I let it all dry, and then I added a matte varnish. And now I'm picking out, as you can see here, I see the light bouncing from my overhead lamp on the shoulder pads. And I felt like, yeah, why not use that? So I'll paint that in using a gray color. And then I'll do the other side, of course. And this is a great way of finding where your light is. Just keep the model in this sort of, I don't know, just keep it like this in paint, what you can see is highlighted. And this works sort of, I guess. It is a good idea to kind of learn where the light would hit the model no matter the angle that you hold the model. But this is a great way of just looking at it and trying to see where the colors are. And here I am going over and like exaggerating the roundness of his shin armor, because when you paint something like as boring as a black color, and if you're painting Space Marines, it's all cylinders and balls, and you need to exaggerate those shapes to make it look kind of good. Like I did with the shin, and I'm now doing it on his power fist, just adding these colors that aren't really there, but it's gonna exaggerate the shapes and make it look cool. And always, the rule of cool is the rule. So if it's cool, it doesn't matter if it's correct or not. And now we speed it all up. We are just going over and doing the edge highlighting. This first gray color that I'm using is a sort of medium dark gray. I use this to edge highlight pretty much everywhere, underneath and on the top. That is because I want the underneath colors to be like the bounce light from like the environment and other parts of the armor. And it's also going to be very, very helpful when sort of defining where the armor parts are. This can be overdone, and I probably did. I don't know. Who cares? It's my model, I win. But it's also going to give you sort of an idea of the shapes of this miniature. Make sure you don't overdo it too much, because you still want the arms and legs and all the black parts to read as if they are black. And if you're doing another chapter like Blood Angels, this is where you just go in with the slightly brighter red that you already had when you base coated it. And if you base coated it using an airbrush like I did for the yellows, you can actually take the original base coat color and use that for your highlights, because that is going to give you a more dense pigmentation, and that's going to look brighter than what you airbrushed. Now I'm putting on an even brighter gray, still working those areas that are previously been painted, and now I'm also adding a lot more scratches and dents and stuff like that to the armor, but I'm also focusing more on the top parts, what would be sort of be hit by light from above, and that is going to separate parts of the model in a pretty nice way. It's going to look more natural, even though we are never going for natural on this channel. We're going for cool stuff, but doing this is going to help you get more interesting parts. You can add scratches wherever you want. You can get more focus onto the head here by adding a lot more of the highlights here than on the arms and the legs, drawing attention to what is supposed to be the focus points of these models. And since they are the focus points, they also get a lot more of our focus when we paint them, because you can do a sloppy job on his feet and his shins, but when it comes to the head and face, you want to do the best job you can, because that is where people are going to be primarily looking when they're looking at your model. And now we're just going over and getting some more highlights in a little bit here and there, and like looking at parts, like, am I satisfied with this? Should I do more of this? And also going in with more edge highlights and defining shapes and forms. There's also some smaller details on this model that are, like you really gotta go in there and get them, as well as adding dots, lines, scratches, and dents and a lot of damage to the paint. Because even though Space Marines really do take care of their armor, I can't fathom them not doing that. As soon as they land in a war zone, there's gonna be dents. Like a grenade goes off 10 meters away and you get hit by shrapnel or Vox's hand or whatever, that's gonna scratch your paintwork. It's gonna hurt your armor's outer coverage, so to speak. And also it's gonna give you, like, there's gonna be dirt gathering in the recesses and stuff like that. So these guys might not have been on the planet too long, but they've been there for a little while, and therefore we want to get some damage and weathering onto the armors. And that is, like all the other steps here, really good for every chapter. You can do this on every single chapter. It's going to look nice. You don't have to. If you don't want to, that's okay. You can keep your very clean armors as well if you want to. I don't want that. I want mine to look sort of dirty, and it's also a lot easier to paint because you can mess it all up and paint like badly and still make it look nice. Here I am focusing that damage thing onto the sort of knuckles of the Power Fist, because if you can think about what that thing is made for, that's where you're gonna see a lot of damage. And that is also one of the things when you're adding these sort of dents and rips and tears and stuff like that, you need to see, like, what is this part used for? Is it probable it's going to get a lot more damage than perhaps like the top of the armor carapace on top of his head there? Yes, this is the thing that you smash through houses and other stuff and other enemies and things like that. So this is the thing that's going to take a lot of damage, even though it has a power field around it. So this is where you can add sort of a personality touch to this thing and really go a little bit overboard, but it's fine, it's cool. We can push it all back later if we want to. You can just glaze over some dark inks or some black if you want that, or whatever color you're doing your chapter in. And like, this is where I take a look and there we go. I need more there. I want some more there. You can see I'm just going in, doing a little bit, tiny pieces, because that leg is very much in the shadow. Also, dropping miniatures is obligatory if you're painting them in your 40s. You need to drop your miniatures. If you don't, what are you doing? Like, what? And you can still see me just going in, like adding these little highlights and shines and things that I think should be like, it will look cool. If even though it's not realistic, it's gonna look nice. And on the table, when these miniatures are gonna be on there, they're gonna look amazing as a squad. And that is like the important part of this paint job, to make it look good on the table and as a squad, not as like a single miniature that people are gonna hold 15 centimeters from their face and go like, yeah, well, you missed this little area here. That's for display painters. This is not display painting. My channel is not for display painting. It will probably never be. It's about having fun my way, and I'm right now feeling like this is the best fun I can have when I'm painting. Oh man, there's a lot of edges on this thing. On the topic of edge highlighting, because we're going to do a lot of edge highlighting in the rest of this video, because we're going to go in with the yellows as well. When you're doing like a long straight line edge, like the sides of the shoulder pads here, or like his face as well, I'm using the same technique there. Do not use the tip of your brush. Use the side of it. Put it at like a 45-degree angle and just rub it alongside it. Like you can see here, that's how you do it. Don't use the tip. This is the side of the brush. You can see that the tip is clearly passing beyond the knee pad, but this is the side of the brush, and then I'm using the tip for the highlight specular highlight or whatever it's called. Ask one of the other technical painters, they can probably tell you. I'm gonna call it the coolest shit fucking highlight of the knee pad. There you go. Quote me on that one. And I'm also adding the highlight on the bottom for the same reason I did it on the black parts, is because there is going to be bounce light coming off the ground and from his armor as well. And it also frames the knee pad in a very nice, satisfying way. And now a couple of dents and like torn pieces also over the transfer. You can add scratches over your transfers. This is a great way of incorporating that transfer even more into whatever it's on. And this goes for anything you put the transfer on. If you put it on a cloak, you can still do things with it to make it look like a part of that cloak. And now just do the same thing we did with the grey, but with the yellows. And I'm gonna use pure demonic yellow from the armor painter for the first step here, and the last part of the edge highlighting on the yellow is going to be done with Vallejo Ice Yellow, one of the best paints out there. Just like skulls, you should get a lot of the Ice Yellow pot. If you don't have Ice Yellow in your collection, oh my god, what are you even doing here? Go run to the store and get one immediately. You need it. It's like obligatory. You can't paint without it. You've been failing at life. And there we go. We are just going over all the edges, and there will be a part here where I paint his crotch armor, even though that thing is very orange in this at this stage, because it's mostly facing sort of downwards and forwards. But I felt like it needed to be more yellow, so I added more yellow to get the bounce light correct from below. Not just straight lines, like I actually pretty much filled it in with yellow, as you can see in the thumbnail at least. And then you can once again see me putting the brush on the side and just getting perfect straight lines on that highlight parts. These though are kind of much harder, and I use a lot of the edge, and they are not perfect. The tip of the brush. The edge is perfectly fitted for these longer lines. And if you do it this way, you don't have to worry about messing up or having uneven edge highlights. This is just, you can't mess it up pretty much. If you have good consistency and brush control, this is the way to do it. And then I'm exaggerating the shapes of his butt armor because, you know, baby got back and he needs to show it off, I guess. And that also adds another point of interest to the model itself, because it looks kind of flat and boring if you don't do this. And I really like exaggerating these parts. Most Space Marines are pretty much a collection of, like I said, tubes and balls. And if you learn how to highlight those sorts of things, you can pretty much do an entire Space Marine pretty easily. He's also got like a square on the backside here, which is awesome to show off those lines. And I guess we are gonna do the final highlight. Here I'm not gonna go like fully following everything. Like when you highlight stuff, you have to go smaller at every single step than the step before it. But by choosing sort of like, this is where I'm gonna put it. It's like you at his head there, underneath his head, you can see I could have gone with that highlight all the way around, but I didn't do that because I want to focus that light sort of there. I could have gone through with that sort of lighting all over the model and it would have been awesome for a display piece, but no, it's just going to be that little part. And same here, I'm just going to keep it sort of small. You don't need the color to go all the way over, and I'm leaving sort of the demonic yellow at the bottom because you have to go smaller every single time. And this is, like I've said so many times in this video, you can do this on every single Space Marine chapter out there. Don't look at the colors. You should like pretty much watch this video in black and grey and you'll see what I mean. You can do this with red, you can do this with green, blue, pink, whatever. If you want to do a synthwave thing, do it. But always think about where you're placing your highlights and go for like easy stuff. Yeah, wasn't that a hoot? There we go, painted armor on my Space Marines. I did this on a lot of the models, like every single model I have right now. So they are all at the same basic layer as the power armored ones. I haven't done the highlights on all of them yet, but the Terminators have got that. So this is me saying goodbye for now, and please like, subscribe, comment. It's all appreciated, and I love to read what you guys write, and I really, really appreciate it. And perhaps you'll follow me on this journey to try and catch that dragon, to find it and make it submit to our will, and to actually get back into the fun of it again. So, see you guys.